Okay, so we've talked about the dating dynamics so far. We talked about, the basic principles and structure of dating, long-term versus short-term dating. But now it's time to talk about the dating food chain and where you rank on this dating food chain. And also how you can improve yourself. And we're going to get into all those steps in the rest of the course. But right now I want to talk about the dating food chain. So the sad part is, honestly, is that most guys don't effectively use short-term dating. Most guys use the priorities of long-term dating instead of the priorities of short-term dating. And of course, like we said before, the priorities of short-term dating are sex, spontaneity, attractiveness, and vibe, right? But most guys never get into this because they always use the attributes of long-term dating. They always use those priorities. And they start off trying to show value instead of emotional-based qualities, emotional-based attraction versus value-based attraction. And it's important that you understand where you are on this food chain, because for the rest of the course, you're going to know what applies to you. You're going to know where you are. So this video here is going to give you insight into where you are dating-wise and into where you are on this food chain. There's two separate pyramids, I guess, if we could look at it from a pyramid structure. There's one for guys and there's one for girls, and they don't overlap. They're very, very different. Unfortunately, I guess the bad news is for guys, it's a little harder because the majority of guys don't sleep with anyone. The majority of guys don't get laid at all. Like, the majority of guys will sleep with maybe 5 to 10 girls throughout their life. And the thing is that a lot of girls actually don't get sex regularly, but they have access to it, actually. A lot of girls, the only reason they don't just fuck a lot of guys is through choice. They choose to not actually do that because of different periods they are in their life. But sometimes they'll maybe do more, sometimes they'll do less. But let's look at the male pyramid, as it were. So at the bottom of the pyramid, what you have is the hard case. You have the complete hard case. We'll go from kind of bottom to top. So the bottom is the hard case, and these are guys that are sleeping with no girls and they have no friends, okay? And I've been teaching success with women for the past 2.5 years now, and I've dealt with a lot of guys who are hard cases. These are guys that may have low-level autism or may have a little higher level, actually, or like some from Asperger's, things like that, where they can't relate to people at all. These are hard cases. And I have friends that have been hard cases that have worked themselves out of it and have actually learned how to become a guy who has success. And then, some people never get there. But a lot of the hard cases, kind of the signs for you as a hard case, is that you really don't have any friends. That's a big indicator. You don't have a lot of close friends. Maybe you have like one friend that like you hang out with here and there, but you don't have a lot of close friends, or you don't understand how people relate to each other. You don't understand why people have fun when they get into a club, right? I've dealt with students like this. And the good news is that if you are a hard case, you can jump up the pyramid. You can jump to the higher tiers, but it's going to take work. So the bottom level is the hard case guy, the guy who doesn't understand social dynamics, the guy who doesn't understand society, who may not understand, how society works, may not understand why people do certain things. He doesn't come from that frame of understanding. That is the hard case frame. That's the hard case bottom tier of the pyramid. The second one, and this is where I was when I first started learning success with women and going out and taking action in my dating life, is the funny or the nice guy, the funny nice guy. And the funny nice guy also has no girls, so doesn't get laid virtually never. Again, occasionally, but rarely ever, if ever, gets laid. And he has friends, but the friends are also similar to him. So there's kind of like a group of funny guys. He's like a funny guy who likes to impress people. He likes to impress the girls around him. He likes to impress the people around him. And he's always looking to use funniness and the nice guy paradigm as a way of coping. Okay, this was me. So I would go out and I would, meet girls and I'd make them laugh. I'd make them giggle, ha ha ha, funny, funny. But I was never actually getting laid. I was never getting results. Like, if you asked me, I knew game. I could make girls laugh. This is maybe around 2014, 2013, maybe even before then, 2012, when I first started going out. And I could make girls laugh. I could make girls, giggle and all that stuff. But there really was no fucking attraction. I would never, ever get success. Ever, right? And what happens is, when you're coming from this nice guy paradigm, when you're coming from, oh, I'm the nice guy, you're using that as a coping mechanism. You're using that to show the girl, to kind of prove to the people around you, hey, this is my little mask. This is my little front. It's okay. Like, you can approve of me, right? You can like me. You can approve of me. Like, it's fine. Like, I'm a funny guy. And you use the funniness to try to win and get approval from people. You use the act of being a funny guy to try to get approval. And that never fucking works. It doesn't fucking work. And you don't get laid, and you have similar friends to you. Like, I had a group of friends, we were all funny, like the funny clowns at the college I used to go to, right? So that's kind of the next tier of the pyramid. And again, good news, you can break out of this and you can jump tiers of the pyramid, okay? The second tier, or the third tier, is the value guy, okay? And this is what I call a guy who has value, who has a good job, He has a few cool friends, but he has minimal girls. So this is where a lot of guys are. It's kind of the average guy who's done something in his career. Again, that doesn't mean you have to be making millions or multiple six figures, but he's making a good salary. He's worked hard, but he just hasn't had the girl part figured out yet. He has friends. He has some friends in his life. He has his money stuff together. He has value. Like, a girl would date him and make him her boyfriend because he has provider value. He would make a good husband potentially, but he doesn't have any of this. He doesn't have this core that makes him an emotionally attractive guy, but he has value-based attraction, okay? And this is, the third top of the pyramid. So the bottom is the hard cases. The second tier would be, the nice guys, the funny little laughing guys that try to make everyone around them laugh. Generally, a lot of younger guys tend to be like that. And then you have the third tier, which is the guy that is the value guy. The guy that has a job, the guy that has his shit together, and he's, he could provide for a girl. He'd make a good, nice boyfriend. He has a few passions and hobbies. He has good hobbies, but, that doesn't really make him an attractive man, right? It doesn't make him attractive, right? And that is the value guy. So he has cool friends. He has a group of cool friends. Maybe he hangs out with them and grabs drinks on the weekend. That's fine. That's great. I think that's awesome. But he has minimal success with women. Maybe he doesn't sleep with quality girls a lot. He doesn't really get success that he would look for. He doesn't get the success that he would want to have. Okay, and at the top of the pyramid, the very top, and these are the guys that, fuck the majority of the girls that you're going to look at here, we're going to look at in a second, is what I call the promoter guys, the high-level guys, the fuckboys, okay? The promoter, high-level bartenders are the fuckboys, okay? And these are the guys that have an abundance of friends, and they have a potential abundance of women, because not all these guys get laid just because of personal choices. Some of them are just like, I don't even fuck about getting laid, but a lot of these guys do. I used to be a nightclub promoter in New York around the end of 2015 to 2016 when I was in the middle of coaching, actually, and teaching this still. And I used to be a promoter, and I would meet tons of girls when I was out, and I would be around guys that were getting high level success. These are the guys that are have an abundance of friends. They're the guys that have these fuckboy traits. These are the actual fuckboys. They don't just have a fuckboy frame. These are like the actual fuckboys. These are the guys that women are like begging to sleep with. The guys that have insane abundance with women and are getting tons of results. And these are the kind of guys, the naturals, the real naturals. I'm not talking about naturals like, oh, I have a buddy that can get laid here and there and he's funny. No. I'm talking about like the guys that are like having threesomes, having sex parties, having orgies, the guys that like connect with really cool people and have amazing friends. These are like the top tier guys that fuck the majority of women. Now, not all of them have to be that extreme as far as sex parties and orgies, but like right under that, in that same category being, the frat boys in college. But a lot of times when those guys leave college, they become the value guy again because they have the value, they have that emotional value in college, that emotional attraction in college. But once they leave, then they become like everyone else. But, at the top of this pyramid, you have the attractive men, the guys that are the promoters, the bartenders, the guys that are socially fluid, socially aware, okay? That's kind of the male dating food chain. It's the male dating food chain. That's how the pyramid works, okay? And you can figure out where you are on this pyramid based on the qualities that I attributed there. And there's always room for error, give or take. Some people may have some qualities of a few pyramids, a few tiers up, but it's a general category. Now for girls, so it's good to understand where girls are. Girls have their own dating pyramid, but it's much different than guys. So you have the socially awkward or unattractive girls that are at the very bottom of the pyramid. And this is a big category, right? So it's the girls that are, maybe they grew up sheltered, they're socially awkward, they're unattractive, they have a small support group of friends though. They have friends. They have a small support group of friends. It's interesting because the same category for men, with the guy that may be a hard case that can't talk to people, can't socialize, is very socially awkward, doesn't understand social dynamics, things like that. He doesn't have many friends. There's no one supporting him. There's no one supporting that guy. But a girl may have that small group of friends. She may have that small group of friends building her up and kind of giving her emotional support. A lot of girls have that. Even if they're a socially awkward girl, they still have this small band of friends, right? But a lot of times these girls have minimal sex. And that's true. Like a lot of guys think all girls get laid. No, that's factually not true. A lot of times girls that are socially awkward, more reserved, shy, don't fit in, things like that, they don't have a lot of sex, okay? And this is like the bottom tier. Again, I'm not ranking people who's better. I'm just putting it in a pyramid, okay? So please don't take this the wrong way. But these girls are at the bottom of the pyramid. It's like these are the kind of girls that are at the bottom of the dating food chain, as it were, okay? The second tier up from that is now where you get into girls that are getting laid. So these are girls that are the cute, I call them the cute average good girl. Girls that are average in looks, girls that are cute girls, maybe, they can get sex. They have occasional sex whenever they desire it, and they have a nice core group of friends, right? They have a good group of friends, girls that support them, girls that they go out with and are down to maybe hook up with another guy while their friend's getting laid, things like that, right? So this the second tier of girls that is getting laid. These girls do have sex when they choose. They're not getting banged all the time. Again, most girls actually are not getting just banged. It's certain times in their life where that happens, where they decide, maybe after a breakup or something. But these girls do have access to sex. They're the cool, cute girls that a lot of guys probably would be happy to get in a relationship with. If you've gone out and polled, you've probably met this kind of girl. They're the average girl. The girl, she has her fucking job or she's in college. She's a cute, nice girl on the dating food chain, and she can get laid whenever she fucking wants because she's a cute girl, pretty much, okay? Then at the top, we have the hot, popular, outgoing girl. And these are the girls that, are at the top of the female dating food chain. The girls that, the guys at the top of the food chain can fuck, but they don't always fuck. Because a lot of these girls actually don't even have that much sex because they are very picky about who they fuck because there's a risk to them of being socially shamed for it or whatever because they have, a higher social status. These girls, again, can have sex when desired just like the other girls. So for them, it's not even like they would have more sex when they desire it because the other girls, the second tier, the cute girls and these girls can have just as much sex. They're cute girls. Like if a cute girl comes up to you and it's like, let's fuck, you're going to fuck the girl, assuming you don't think she's a prostitute, you're going to fuck her. The same way the stunning girl can get sex, right? But the difference between them is that they have a large abundance of friends and they have a lot of social pressure on them. A lot of these girls have thousands of Instagram followers. I'm talking about those kind of girls. And of course, there's like a level above this on both categories, which is celebrities, for men and women, which is celebrities. But we're not going to go into that because I assume most people watching this, and I know myself, I will never or not in the near future be a celebrity at any point. So this doesn't apply to us, okay? That's a whole different tier. But we're talking about, people that we can relate to in this dating food chain, the dating marketplace. You have this top tier of girls that are very hot. They have a lot of social validation from friends. They're still, however, trying to fulfill this role of, being the princess because behind closed doors, they look a lot different. They're not getting the constant validation. I see it all the fucking time. I've dated models, dated these girls, and it's like, they're not actually that kind of girl behind closed doors. They have a lot of fucking problems, the same way guys do as well, right? But this is the female dating food chain. Now, it's important that you understand how to actually jump up the rankings in the male dating food chain. How do you jump up the rankings? We're going to get into that in the next module, actually. But I want to set a few ground rules just that you won't feel bad. You can feel good about where you're at. So there's no need to become a promoter. You don't have to become the promoter. You don't have to become the bartender who's fucking every girl. You don't have to go out and build this massive social circle and start making money promoting and networking with high-end individuals. We're going to talk about how you can do that, because a lot of guys tend to actually want to get into that. But you need to develop the qualities of what these guys have, right? You need to develop the qualities of what these guys have. This is why I call it the fuckboy frame. What is the frame that these guys are coming from? What is the frame that these guys have? What is the frame that they have when they're interacting with people, when they're interacting with women? What is the frame, right? There's a couple of different frames and different qualities that these guys have. Number one is abundance. They just have a sense of abundance. They have a frame of abundance. And the frame of abundance they come from is they have a lot of friends. They have a wealth of friends. So abundance in friendship and abundance with women. Abundance in life. They have an abundance as far as, I can lose out on something in the moment because I can get it again later, right? It's like they are like, if I lose this person now, the willingness to walk away. The willingness to walk away. The willingness to say, okay, if I lose this right now, if I lose this person right now, if I lose this interaction, if I lose this in the moment, I can walk away. Okay? Because they have that sense of abundance, because there's always another one. That's one. The second thing is a minimal value on looks. They don't prioritize looks. They treat everyone the same. They fuck girls that are hot, but they don't prioritize women that are hot. To them, like, getting a hot girl is like, okay, the same as talking to a fat chick. It's the same thing. Because they don't prioritize looks, again, because of the sense of abundance. There's always another one. There's always another hot girl that can come through. A lot of this comes from the fact that they actually know the truth, again, quotes around truth, the truth about what hot girls want and the truth about who hot girls are, because they've been around a lot of hot girls and they've experienced a lot of hot girls. You're going to have to get some experience to get there, and we're going to talk about this in Module 3 with the taking action part of the course, okay? But these guys have minimal value on looks. They don't prioritize a girl just because she's hot. It's like she's a hot girl, okay, cool. They don't prioritize her. Just she's a hot girl, awesome, right? The third thing is a high sense of self-worth. A lot of these guys have a high sense of self-worth. Again, take it with a grain of salt, because like some of these people definitely struggle with depression, of course, and it could be a mask. But a lot of times, generally, a lot of these guys that are the most successful with women and have a lot of this success, they have a high sense of self-worth, a self-identity, not even a self-esteem, but it's like an identity where they think that they're fucking amazing. It's like they think that I'm the most high-value guy here. We're going to talk about that later, more in the mindsets section of the fuckboy frame. But, they have this high sense of self-worth where they see themselves as the kind of guy that deserves women. They see themselves with that high sense of entitlement. They see themselves as the kind of guy that should get success. They have a high sense of self-worth. And the fourth principle, the fourth kind of quality, the fourth frame of the guy who is attractive and is getting results, that fuckboy frame, the fourth fuckboy frame, is freedom of expression, because you understand there's minimal consequences. And this is an interesting one. I was wondering if I should write it in here because I didn't want people to take it the wrong way. But when you understand that there is minimal consequence for you taking certain actions, you begin to have a freedom of expression. What does that mean? So, a lot of times when we go out and we meet women or we take actions in life, we believe that there's going to be a big consequence for doing something. For example, I'll give something extreme. The act of like running around in the street and ripping your pants down and running in your boxers. Why would that cause you anxiety? For example, I wouldn't do something like that. I would not do that because I'd freak the fuck out. I'm not the kind of person that does crazy shit. Like I pick up girls and say nonsense and say things in certain situations, of course, but I'm not the kind of person that's going to like be like a crazy prankster and embarrassing themselves in public. I'm just not that kind of person. I don't see value in that for me. But let's say someone who does that, I don't think there's anything wrong with doing it. I think it's actually pretty funny that someone could do something like that. So let's say a guy who goes and does that, why would someone not be able to do that? For example, me, why would I not be able to do that? Because in the back of my mind, I think that there is a consequence for doing it. I think that people will judge me and it would be weird. I feel that consequence. Right? But what happens is you have some guys that can actually get away with this, like the pranksters you may know on YouTube, like fucking Vitaly and all these guys, the crazy motherfuckers. What happens is there is no consequence. They understand that there's no consequence for them doing these actions. Now, some of them go farther, like getting arrested constantly because they're like, the arrest itself is no consequence to them. To them, that's nothing. They take massive risks. They do crazy things. They freely express themselves because they believe that there is no consequence. Now, sometimes this goes too far, and because there is actual fucking consequences, and you shouldn't do these things because you're going to die or you'll be locked up. But, you know, this quality of believing that you can do anything you want and say anything you want because there's minimal consequence is really important to cultivate. It's important to have. Because so many of us, this may be you. If this is you, I'm talking to you right now. So many of us come out and they believe that there is a lot of consequence for the things that we're doing. It's like getting a makeout with a girl. If you go for the makeout, the consequence is that the girl will reject you and it'll be awkward. That's not a consequence. That's not a consequence. Like, okay, great. The girl rejected you. It's awkward. Yay. You can go from there. Right? Understanding this. So, to kind of summarize these things, the how to jump up the rankings, you have to get the rankings, you have to get these fuckboy frame qualities, okay? These qualities of the fuckboy frame, which is, again, abundance, cultivating the sense of abundance, cultivating a sense of, you know, there's always another one. There's always another one. I can get more of whatever it is that I'm losing out. The willingness to walk away, okay? Most guys never get this because they don't push themselves, they don't stretch themselves out there. We're going to learn how to do this on this course. If you look into exercises as well, I'll have exercises. There's exercises going along with each module, each section on how to actually cultivate this sense of abundance, how to get there, how to progress. Okay, the second thing, the second aspect, the second quality is minimal value on looks. Stop prioritizing looks. Just because a girl looks good doesn't mean she has value. Just because a girl looks good doesn't mean she has value. She could have value, but it has nothing to do with her looks. It has to do with who she is as a person. When you strip that away, when you strip that desire for giving the girl value and giving her priority because of her looks, that's when you win. That, my friend, is when you have success. Number 3, high sense of self-worth. Having a high sense of identity, and that's what the next module is going to be all about. The next module is going to be about that. So having a high sense of value, having a high sense of self-worth, creating that identity where, you know, I feel like I am valued by people around me. I feel like I am all that. I feel like I am all that. I have that ego, that slight ego, that champion's ego, not that killing ego where I think I'm better than other people. People should surrender to me, but I think that I am worth results. I think that I'm worth getting results because I've worked on myself, right? And number 4 is the freedom of expression, because you understand that there are minimal consequences for certain actions you take. You understand that there's minimal consequences. That you can take actions without suffering a fucking consequence. Okay? And the last thing I want to say before we go into the next section, which we're going to go in really in depth with the fuckboy frame principles before we head on to module number 2. The next principle is, learning game. You have to understand game. You have to actually learn game. That's why this is a game product. This is a program that teaches you how to learn game, how to be successful with women, right? You learn game because it's going to teach you how to actually take action in your life. Learning game teaches you how to take action, how to meet girls. It gives you the skill set to understand women. It teaches you how to cultivate that identity. It teaches you how to cultivate that healthy identity. Learning game is very valuable. Learning game is important, and learning game will get you that success. Learning game is going to get you to the point where you have that abundance, okay? So you're going to have to take action. You're going to have to go out and actually apply these things. You're going to have to practice meeting women. Okay, let's crack into some of the deeper fuckboy frame principles.